There is some serious bullshit coming from Democratic lawmakers in Washington aimed at Representative Ilhan Omar. Now, before I even get to that, let me show you just one of the attacks that Ilhan Omar was recently faced with. So, Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar likened to 9/11 terrorist in poster at Republican event. And here is that poster. This is some seriously racist bullshit. Now, on the other side of that, do we have Democratic lawmakers coming to Ilhan Omar's defense and being really concerned about these attacks from Republican lawmakers on Ilhan Omar? No. What they're concerned about are her apparent anti-Semitic comments. So here's a headline. Ilhan Omar's contentious comments prompt Democrats to craft anti-Semitism measure. Omar was accused of anti-Semitism for the third time after speaking at a town hall in Washington on Wednesday. Okay, wow. Well, what did she say? It must have been really terrible for Democratic lawmakers to come out against one of their own in their party. What did she say? Her latest comments came during a town hall in Washington while speaking about liberal issues. Quote, "I want to talk about the political influence in this country that says it is okay for people to push for allegiance to a foreign country," Omar said. What? This is anti-Semitic? What the hell is wrong with this comment? She's actually speaking on an issue that not enough Democrats, or barely any Democrats, are speaking on. Let me give you an example. Publisher embroiled in legal battle with Arkansas over law banning Israel boycotts. One of more than 25 states to put anti-BDS legislation on the books, Arkansas is a battleground in a conflict that's gone national. So, without boring you with all the details, I will link to this article below the video so you can read the full story. But essentially, a newspaper publisher in Arkansas has lost revenue because they wouldn't sign a loyalty pledge to Israel. This is clearly a violation of the First Amendment. This is against free speech. Yet, somehow Ilhan Omar is being anti-Semitic by pointing out how a law like this is clearly troubling, is clearly unconstitutional. What is the issue here? Now, instead of Democrats coming out and saying, you know what, Ilhan Omar is right. Why should, a publisher like this lose money because they won't sign a loyalty pledge? By the way, there's more examples. There's a woman in Texas who lost her job as a teaching assistant because she also wouldn't sign this loyalty pledge to Israel. But here's an example of what Democrats are saying. So Debbie Wasserman Schultz tweets out, "Sadly, misunderstandings over anti-Semitic hurtful comments continue, as does hateful Islamophobic rhetoric. Dialogue leads to understanding. Ilhan Omar repeated misunderstandings would seem to require dialogue to avoid repetitive harm." This is some obvious bullshit. On one hand, you have Republicans comparing Ilhan Omar to a terrorist. On the other side, you have Ilhan Omar speaking truth to power, talking about how there is a serious issue here when you're forcing companies to sign a loyalty pledge to Israel, which is unconstitutional. Somehow these are equal things. Now, I saw one of the greatest tweets of all time in response to this tweet from Debbie Wasserman Schultz. This is a tweet from David Cross, and honestly, yes, it is one of the greatest tweets of all time. Let me read this. "You rapacious, moldering, hollow husk of a person. Your knowingly cynical, disingenuous, pandering bullshit take helps no one. You are morally bankrupt and, quite literally, personify everything that's wrong with American politics. Your name will be taught in future history classes." I can't do this tweet justice. This is one of the most amazing tweets I have ever seen. He directly calls out Debbie Wasserman Schultz's bullshit, and really the bullshit of the entire Democratic Party at this point, that is, for some reason, again, aligned against Ilhan Omar, who is speaking truth to power, who is bringing up a serious issue that should be dealt with. David Cross is exposing that empty bullshit, and I effing love it. Now, to show you how far this is going. So it was sort of hinted at earlier with the previous headline, but let me read this one here. House Democrats to bring resolution condemning anti-Semitism to the floor Wednesday. So, again, you have Democratic lawmakers in the House. Instead of dealing with the clear Islamophobia coming from Republican politicians and the Republican Party and their supporters, you have Democrats attacking one of their own for an issue that is legitimate. Again, nothing Ilhan Omar said here or did is anti-Semitic. This is an issue that even Bernie Sanders, a Jewish man, has spoken up about. The issue that you can't have these loyalty pledges to Israel on the books because they are clearly a violation of free speech. So this entire conversation is so backwards, and the one party that should be on the side of what is right and what is correct and pushing against that kind of bullshit has decided to instead join the Republicans in attacking Ilhan Omar. It is a complete and utter embarrassment. And the people, the Democrats pushing for this legislation should be primaried. So I'm going to link to who those Democrats are below the video. Message them, maybe message Justice Democrats, talk about, hey, you know what? These are politicians that maybe should be dealt with, and we should get them out of Congress and replace them with somebody actually progressive who cares about the issues, who would be willing to come to Ilhan Omar's defense here.